Now, this is kind of blurry, but the main thing, is Aegis is the only person we have who is a, and why? What is this person's type? A manifester. Yes, manifester, right? Ego manifester. So it's known as the ego center connected to the will. I mean, the will connected to the throat, right? Boom. Willpower directly to the throat, right? Ability to manage resources, to take care of resources, to attract resources, to distribute resources, to be really in their power as a as somebody who is moving through our world and creating the waves that the rest of us get to respond to, because that's the purpose of manifestors, is to be the people who are doing that. So Amy, I don't know if you're on here or not, but that's really what your role is. And look at all those activations on the sacral. So it's going to be really easy for her to get her sacral defined, because she has got all these open all these hanging gates. And let me just say one thing about hanging gates. These are hanging gates, right? When they don't have their mate, right? And so this person's always going to be looking for the people who are going to activate and turn on her sacral in a consistent way. Okay. All right. Jessica here is a what type? So our little quizzes for today. Projector. Yep, Jacqueline, you got it. And what makes Jessica a projector? It's always kind of a trick question with projectors. Well, yes, no motor to the throat. That's one aspect. No sacral definition. Exactly. Okay. So it's interesting, Wendy, that you said splenic projector, because one thing I would say about authorities, especially for projectors, this person could identify more as a mental projector because they have this configuration. So I would say to you, Jessica, I know it says splenic authority, and my chart says splenic authority too, and I'm a generator. I'm like, are you kidding me? I have sacral authority. I would never go with splenic authority if I have sacral authority. This person doesn't have sacral authority, so they get to play around with their spleen. The thing about splenic authority is you have to get really super clear and have no fear running in you in order to know that you're getting clear intuition from your spleen. So this person has got intuition coming through their 4323, which is that knowing circuit, right? So to me, I'm like, that's an intuitive energy I might trust more than the splenic. But everybody has to decide for themselves. And just remember, human design is an experiment. So you want to just see for yourself what is true for you. Okay. Now we're into our mental projected projectors here, and we have 3 of them. Now, the thing I want to say about being mental projected, because we do have 3 of them, and so some of you were asking me a little bit more about that. And the thing I would say is that, well, one, we're going to look at this, is you want to look at what channel is defined, okay? Because that's going to be really critical for you. And with the 3 different mental projectors that we have here, you all have one of each. So again, this is the beginning of the sensing circuit. Okay. So being in touch with your creativity, honoring your creativity, your experiential, your love of experience, of being able to like kind of engage with things through the body, it's embodied energy. You want to just really honor that. And here you've got the 46 lit up also. And so that's the love of the body. And so, and it's Uranus is there. So you do want to be able to really kind of honor that for yourself. And know that the insights that you receive through that sensing circuit are valid. Don't let the 4 kind of disrupt it. Like, don't let it do that. Be open to what's coming in that way. The other thing, though, here again, this person needs a lot of alone time. They need good energy practices. They need to do stuff with grounding, sitting on the earth, lying on the earth, bare feet on the earth, feeling the earth, really connecting to the earth is going to help somebody with this kind of definition, because it's going to help bring some energy into the lower part of the body on a regular basis. Yeah. So yeah, she's got the 46 3 times. I think she's also got the 48 3 times. Yep. So when you have this fewer centers defined, usually that means that there's going to be lots of gates that have multiple activations in them. Okay. So now this person, also mental projected, has the logic circuit, okay, lit up in her chart. So for her, like really learning to honor the part of her, because the beautiful thing about the 63-4 is it's kind of like, wow, look at the world. Look at what's happening out there in the world. Look, how can I be curious about what's going on? How can I kind of be in a wow state? Because that's the best place to like engage with scientific inquiry, which is what's in the logic circuit. And so she wants to make sure that there's this kind of effervescence and openness and sense of possibility that is really lighting up this 63-4, because otherwise it can be kind of shut down, kind of like Pluto's lighting it up. So Pluto's lighting up the right brain. 63. Jupiter. So that the great thing about that is that it's going to, it's going to be a blessing for you when you allow it to show up that way for yourself, right? This is going to be a blessing for you. And you want to just look at what other circuitry is big for you. Again, here we've got 4 spleen gates, right? So you want to make sure that you're on top of that. Again, grounding practices for you, making sure you're doing releasing any emotional energy, particularly that isn't yours. But just really kind of honoring the curiosity that you have that's coming in here. And your 48, like I said, it's 3. Is this the one? No, it was the last one. Sorry, I might start to confuse myself with what chart we're looking at. But Mercury is lighting up that 48. So really being open to the wisdom that you're creating through your life experience and being willing to share that with people, and doing it in a way that helps bring things back into alignment. Here's the 18, without correcting them, right? You want to watch out for that correction. Okay. Yes, with the tendency to be in the head, it's critical to take care of the body. Absolutely. Oh, Jessica, looks like you just got a reading. Perfect. I look forward to connecting with you. Right. And the 60. And the 60 in the knowing circuit, right? Got a very nice little bit of the knowing circuit coming in here. Also the 28. Make sure you're on top of that 28. And then the gate of abundance. Oh, there's always so much. Okay, got to move on. All right. So here's our third mental projected, and she's got the knowing circuit coming in here. Okay, but she's also got it here in the 23, in the 1, which is multiply defined, the 2 that's multiply defined, and the 28. So, yeah, for you, Keely, I don't know if it's Keely. I think it's Keely, not Kelly. Yeah. So for you, Keely, honoring your knowing circuit. Okay. Here you've got it in your incarnation cross, right? Here's the 2 and the 1, and they're multiply defined. So you just really want to honor them and honor your ability to be somebody who can bring through this really different way of thinking and really different way of seeing things, so that we're able to receive your wisdom. We're able to receive the things that only you are going to be a conduit for. You are so plugged in, and you're on that leading edge of consciousness with that 28. Like, you're going to be able to, so projectors are here to guide, right? More than they are to work. So in your guidance, don't be afraid to receive and speak to the things that are countercultural that are going to come to you, because you're going to have plenty of them. Yeah. And then here we've got that 56 again, which is the divine storyteller. So use that to, oh, Saturn's lighting it up. So this is part of your lesson, is to learn how to tell stories for the collective that are useful and are informed from that kind of leading edge information that you're going to be receiving through that knowing circuit. Okay. Before we move on, I want to say one thing about projectors and their authority. And this also will relate to reflectors as well, which is that you really need to have people around you who you can trust, who you can talk things through with. And I just gave the three of you a little bit of a sense of the quality of what's coming in here. So, but like if you have the knowing circuit, Keely, you're going to need to have somebody you can talk to who's open to the kind of really breakthrough stuff you have, right? And who was it who we had? I guess it was Cassia who had the sensing, right? You're going to need to be able to talk things through, or even to like move your body and act things out, right? Because that's that kind of energy of that sensing circuit. And you're going to need people to hold space for you to say, come on, like, give it to me. I'm here. I want to receive. And that they're witnessing you, and you will find your way into your truth as you do that, right? So whatever it says your authority is, just know projectors do really well when they express it. They get it out, and it's best when they have a witness. Although I did know somebody who is a projector who did it in her journal. She learned how to do it in her journal when she was younger. She just figured it out herself. So, okay. Okay. So reflectors. Oh my gosh, we have 5 reflectors. I cannot believe it. Okay. 5 reflectors. Wow, Dennis, look at all this. So a few things to say about reflectors. A lot of times people think, and sometimes I think in traditional human design, there's this thing about how reflectors are just at the mercy of all of the different people in their lives, and that they're constantly being pushed around by other people's energy. And, they kind of don't have anywhere to land and like that. So the reflectors that I've known actually have been very powerful people. Some of them have fallen into victim consciousness. I think partly because they didn't know their type before, and they may have felt like things were coming at them, but they are actually very powerful people. The thing is, reflectors absolutely need to have a lot of time alone. They need to have energy practices that are going to be helping them to be releasing other people's energy out of them, and not just releasing other people's energy out, but also filling themselves up with their own soul energy. And that's the thing when you do like breath work and you do different kinds of energy work. The point is, especially for somebody with this kind of openness, is you want to fill yourself up with your own soul light. The thing is that Qigong is great. The thing is that you just need to do it on a regular basis, because you're not going to be able to sustain it. Like I have 5 open centers, right? So I'm not like a reflector, but I need to do energy work regularly, because if I don't, I can feel how my energy starts to dissipate, because I don't have that many places where I can land and hold on. So that's going to be true for most of the projectors we looked at, and for Dennis, and also for the generator that we looked at, who only had 2 centers defined. Now, can you mute yourself, whoever's making noise, please? Thank you. Okay. So when the thing about reflectors is, it's important for them to get to know. Was that me? What just happened? Whoa. Okay, this is really weird. Hold on. I don't know what that was. What turned that on? Okay, let me try it again. Coming towards the end here, folks. Okay. So they want to really focus on their gates and their circuitry, because and where their energy clusters. Okay, if that makes sense. So one thing to just look at a chart and go, oh, okay, does the energy tend to cluster in one place? So when I look at this, I see that the energy tends to cluster around the throat. Look at all the activations this person has on the throat. Dennis has on his throat, right? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus he's got a double defined hanging gate and another hanging gate coming towards his throat, and also another one because this is coming towards the throat, right? So for Dennis, he's going to be able to get his throat defined really easily. I mean, part of it is an awful lot of people, I don't remember what the percentage is something like 70% of people have either a defined or a motorized throat. So a lot of people. So he's just going to pick that up from other people. But really, Dennis, for you to be looking at the qualities of these different gates and exploring what do they mean for you in your life. But then the other thing that really jumped out at me, and I'll open up the chat again because you guys are probably saying something interesting over here. There we go. Is that he's got the 64, right? Isn't that what it is? Yeah, 64 is defined 4 times in his chart. So he's going to be receiving from super consciousness through all the channels, right? But the right brain is the really strong one because he's got it 4 times. Let's see, does the 61? Now the 61 is important. It's his unconscious earth. But that's really the only one that's and the 63. So he's got the 64 4 times, and the 63 is part of his life lesson because Saturn's lighting it up. So one of the things is for him to practice sorting through and honoring the different types of energy that's going to be coming into him, and then seeing what's wanting to come out through that throat. Again, grounding practices, clearing practices for someone like this. For Sandra, take a look here and tell me what you see. I'm just looking at some of the. Okay. Getting too many. Okay. Yeah, Lee, we actually have your chart in here. Is it draining to be a reflector? Are they mirrors of our society? People can drain us, the wrong people, but the happy ones are really empower us. So the thing the last thing I would say about that is anyone with a lot of openness, whether you're a reflector or some other type, if you have a lot of openness, you will receive and amplify other people's energy, which can give you a lot of energy in the short term, right? But you're not really wired to have all that energy running through your system all the time. So if you get addicted to it, and any non-sacral type can get addicted to generator energy because 70% of us are generators. And so manifestors, projectors, reflectors all can get addicted to generator energy because, the chances are you're going to be around one of us and it feels really good, but it can definitely burn you out. And so it's ironic. It's like you're getting this energy and you're amplifying it, but it's actually burning you out. In the short term, it can boost you, but in the long term, it's not going to be particularly good for you. Okay. All right. Lots of root gates and throat. Throat. Okay. Strong root and throat. Okay. Right. Exactly. We cannot do that for too long. Exactly. The throat and the root. Right. So it's very interesting to have all these kind of lit up. So for this person, they want really in all these hanging gates, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So if they come into contact with anybody with the mates to any one of those 9 gates, all of a sudden their throat's going to get defined, right? Plus, depending on where it is, some other center is going to get defined as well. So really looking at Sandra, really looking at your ability to express and how that is for you, and looking for people in your life that help you to express by defining your throat. That can be super helpful. Oh, I know you have like Is that what it is? Yeah, you've got the 39, you've got the 32 and the 39. But you also have 10 activations in the knowing circuit. So the thing about the 39, and it's your number one gate, so I want to just say something about it. It's the gate of provocation or recalibration in quantum human design. And the 39 can be a little bit gnarly. I have it defined in my chart. And you want to make sure that when you are sharing, that you're doing it at the right time with the right people in the right situation. And you also want to make sure that your articulation, and this will be interesting for you as a reflector, is that you don't have an edge to it. Like, because you can be provocative without poking people, but that 39 can come across to other people like this. So you want to watch out for that. Okay. I have no idea how to say this name. Oh, I guess you've been putting Hind in, so maybe that's your first name. I don't really know. Let me know, is Hind your first name? Because I don't want to say the wrong thing. All right. Oh, actually, one more thing about Sandra. She has those 10 activations in the knowing circuit. So it's important for her to to honor that part of herself. And that's where I would really look for her. And for any of you reflectors, is to look at what's your primary circuitry. Because if you have a predominance of one, the way that Sandra did, you really want to get in touch with that. And that 39 that I just talked about is in the knowing circuit. Okay. And then Hind here has 9 activations in the logic circuit. So her energy is quite different than the person who has it in the knowing circuit. So even though they're both reflectors, then they actually, the primary energy that's running through their system is not that of not the same, right? Okay. Is there anything else I wanted to say about this? Just tune in here for a second. All the same things I said before. It's interesting that the only one of the gates in the logic circuit that's in her incarnation cross is the 31, which she's got double defined because it's also her Mars is anywhere else. I didn't necessarily do this with everybody. Yeah, so she's got the 31 twice. So that's one thing is that beautiful leadership energy. And the 38 is also leadership energy around, it's kind of the put the stake in the ground kind of energy. So, yeah. So think about that for yourself. Hind is what leadership are you standing into for yourself? Yes, the 18 and also the 26 is twice. The 1 that she's got a multiple things that are activated more than once, which is going to be true for any reflector. I can't believe we have so many reflectors. Like, welcome, reflectors. And so for this person, where does his energy? I think it's a him or her. Not sure. Non-binary, whatever your identification is. Where does this energy cluster? It's really obvious in this one, right? Right? Look at it. It's like all down here, right? It's all down at the root. So it's going to be really important for this person to make sure that they're grounded, right? To make sure that they have an active relationship with their root energy. And again, like sitting on the earth, lying on the earth, doing energy practices that help you to get in contact with your root. We do a lot of those in Kundalini yoga. That's the main thing that just jumped out at me about this chart. I was like, wow, look at that. Well, no, the defined parts of the root are not going to come and go. It's the sense of the definition of the root. And that's going to depend a lot on the life experience and the choices that this person has made as to what kind of relationship they have with that root energy. But again, they've got multiple activations in different parts of the chart. Any reflector is going to. Yeah. Oh, and Jacqueline says you have 0 in your root. Yeah. We're all so different. I mean, one of the reasons I love doing this is that we get to see how different we all are. Okay, this is my last one. This is Lee, which you popped in before and you said something about, you said you started doing Qigong like a year ago. And yeah, exactly. That's a great practice for a for a reflector and a projector, really for all of us, but is to really, because it'll teach you to get into your hara, which in our language is the sacral, and also to get grounded, because there's this sense of really getting rooted down into the earth with all of the martial arts practices, is really getting rooted into the earth, building that prana in the sacral, and then being able to extend it out through the arms, through the head, and so on. So that's a really great practice for her. And then where does her energy cluster? Yep, throat, exactly. Looks like the throat mostly. Again, like for me, if I were going to do like a full reading for a person like this, I would actually go and count everything, right? But you can just tell visually looking at this, oh, look at all this stuff around the throat, right? Some stuff here around the spleen. So she's going to want to watch out for her victim consciousness and her existential fear and her fear of the future. So she's going to want to do that. She's going to watch out for any codependence that might come her way. She wants to make sure that she's in on her abundance, right? So there's lots of different things you can look at, but really look at all those activations, right? And the hanging gates, because there's more hanging gates as well. So this is, again, if for a reflector, you want to look at where all of those go, and then you wanted to build a really juicy relationship with all of those different gates, so that you are making the most of your definition, because you don't have that much of it, right? And things are going to be multiply defined in your chart. And so you want to, I'm just going to put this in, let's see, make sure I'm doing this right. I'm going to put this over here again too. So, yeah. So I can come out of here. Yeah. So you want to really take a look at that, and, and like, so look at the qualities of the throat center, right? Or the root center that we have for one of the reflectors, right? Really look at the qualities of those and build your relationship with it. Because here's the thing, and there's a few things I want to say about this as we're concluding. Because I actually think I have an appointment at the top of the hour. Let me double check. I do. Okay. So I'm gonna have to wrap up soon. Is that your openness influences you just as much as your definition, but in a different way. And so you want to build a really good relationship with it, because you can positively imprint yourself with the more awakened and more empowered expression of your openness. Like, I only have one gate in the sensing circuit defined in my chart. I have a very deep relationship with the sensing circuit, with the embodiment, with the creativity, with the experiential, with the connection to spirit, like all of that. I have a very deep and powerful relationship with it. And I have it anytime I want it. It doesn't mean like I walk around feeling like it's always like the main thing I'm experiencing or broadcasting, but it's always there anytime I want it. So don't think that because something's open, you don't have access to it. And over time, you don't even need another person, because you can start to feel it, just the way that we say, oh, people have a lot of openness. They're so subject to getting conditioned by other people. Well, you can positively condition yourself. Or like, if you're like, I really want to have a great relationship with my G center, and it's open. Like, be around some people who have a defined G center, who love themselves, who love, the universe, who really clear on their identity, but they're not controlling or trying to get you to do anything. Just see what that feels like, right? And then you can start to positively imprint yourself with that. There was one other thing I wanted to say about the openness. What was it? Shoot, did I make a... I'll see if it comes up. All right. So, so the one thing I just want to say about the readings, okay, is in a half an hour, we can dive pretty deep into one thing. So it's not the same depth, obviously, that I do in a full reading, right? It's not. But it can, especially if you're kind of like one thing that you want to work on, right? There's one thing you're like, God, I really want to understand this. Now, the other thing that happens is a lot of times different things come up. But you'd be amazed how much can actually get done in a half an hour. And then, of course, you can always come and do a longer reading with me if you want. And then some of you are saying, wow, this was really fun. This was really good. What a great way to learn. So can you just put in the chat just a yes or no? Would you be interested in being part of a community human design journey where we did this kind of thing on a regular basis? Where we did a lot more kind of really getting in there and exploring. We could read everybody's charts. We could look at different aspects of charts. I'm thinking about having like workshops once a month on authority, really getting your authority, your purpose, getting, really clear about where purpose lives in the chart, because it lives all over the chart. There's not just one place. Intuition, understanding your intuition, and then reading charts. Right. And also looking at the transit reports, and really just opening up a space for us to talk about the transit reports, because obviously I already do them. So it would be an opportunity for us to like have a regular time, every week, probably one that's earlier in the day and then one that's later in the day, so that we can get people with different time zones to talk about transit reports. So it's about, yeah, okay, good. All right. Yeah. All right. So we're getting some yes. Yeah. Oh, good. Excellent. All right. So, somebody wants hold on a second. They want the link. I will also put this in the community. So I didn't have you guys, opt in. So I don't actually have your specific, emails, but I will put it in the community. Okay. I hope you're all go join the community. If you're just coming in from YouTube and you haven't joined the community, come join the community. Also. All right. So yeah, transits are super important for people who are really open, especially reflectors. I'm glad you're appreciating the transit reports. Yeah. Okay. The videos I have about the gates are the transit reports. And one of the things that I've up until now only had it in my Activate Your Superpowers, Understanding Human Design program, which I'm going to be upgrading and adding some more things to, and it'll become a certificate program. So if you want to be able to use human design with clients that you have, it's not going to be the same as like a specialist training, like what I went through, which was like 3 years, but it will be enough to be able to work with clients, like bring in some fundamentals with clients. Anyway, so in that I actually have in that program a way to search for every time I mention a gate in my transit reports for the last 3 years. So what that means is that when I'm going to bring this into the new community aspect, what that means is that, let's say you want to find out more about the 64. We were just talking about the 64. You can go in and you can search. And I always talk about the gates at least twice, right? And so, and sometimes more every year. So there's a way more information about the gates in my transit reports than, I love this book, don't get me wrong, but like in a book like this. Because, you look at what's in here about a gate and it's just not that much, right? It's not that much information. It's a reference book. It's meant to be a starting place. It's not meant to be the be all and the end all. So in that community journey that we'll do together, you'll be able to access that, because I think that's way more valuable. And no, if I were going to sit down and do, there's 64 gates. I'm not going to do 64. That's for specialist training. Go get specialist training if you want that. Okay. What else? Great idea. Oh, you're liking that. Okay. It's less alienating. So helpful. Yes. Okay, great. So I'm going to save this chat and see who you are and follow up with you. And I'll put it in the community and all about that. Okay. So everybody got the link who wants it right now. So appreciating thank you. This was a fascinating way to learn. Okay, awesome. Okay. Yes, link in the community. All right. I think that is a wrap. Almost 2 hours. Oh, I love doing this with you. And oh, and we'll do more. And so if you're really thinking, wow, I want to make human design like real in my life, I can't even tell you the number of ways human design has made my life easier, happier, more joyful, more prosperous, more energetic, more exciting, like just so many ways. And if you're like, I want that, I want what she's got, then this will be a really great way to explore together and to be together. Okay, so that's what's coming soon. I don't know exactly when. Okay, excellent. All right, many blessings. The recording will be up. I'm going to put it up on YouTube, and I'm going to put it in and then we'll repost it in the community. I might break it into 2 parts just because it's so long. Okay. All right. Love to you. See you soon. Say hi in the community. Go and share about yourselves. Say how this landed for you. Raise the questions that you, no Facebook community, the Becoming Sovereign community. You guys all know about the community? Okay. It's, I put it in almost every email of mine. So who's that? Who's asking that? Jacqueline, are you on my list? Oh, well, that's why you're not in the know, because you're not on my list. You need to go opt in and get on my list. Go and look at almost any description on YouTube, and there's ways to get on my list. All right. Love you guys. Bye for now.